מזמור השיר ליום השבת, מזמור השיר ליום השבת. שימחני אדוני בפועלך, במעשה ידיך ארנן. הגדלו מעשיך אדוני מאוד עמדו, מחשבותיך מזמור שיר, מזמור שיר ליום השבת, מזמור שיר, מזמור שיר ליום השבת. Nine na 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 nine 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 na nine nine na 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 nine nine. Nine na 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 nine 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 na nine nine na 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 nine nine. Nine na 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 nine 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 na nine nine na 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 nine nine. Nine na 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 nine 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 na nine nine na 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 nine nine. Adon olam asher malach b'terem kol yetzir nivra yetzir nivra. Le'ed asa b'chefzo kol azay melech shmo nikra azay melech shmo nikra. ואחרי כיכות הכל לבדו ימלוך נורא, והוא היה והוא עובד, והוא יהיה בתפארה, והוא אחד ואין שני, לעם שלו לאחמירה, בלי ראשית בלי תחתית, ולא ההוד והמזרח. אדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם כל יציר נברא, יציר נברא. לעת עשה בחפצו כל, אזי מלך שמו נקרא, אזי מלך שמו נקרא. והוא אלי וחי גואלי, וצור חלי ועת צרה, והוא ניסי ומנוצלי, בנת כוסי ביום אקרא. בידו אתקין רוחי, בעת ישן ועירה, ואם רוחי גביעתי, אדוני לי ולא יירא. אדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם כל יציר נברא, יציר נברא. לעת נשא בחפצו כל, אזי מלך שמו נקרא, אזי מלך שמו נקרא. Nine na 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 nine 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 na nine nine na na nine nine. Nine na 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 nine 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 na nine nine na na nine nine. Nine na 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 nine 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 na nine nine na na nine nine. Nine na 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 nine 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 na nine nine na na nine nine. O Master of the world, the one supreme afar, guide us on our journey and let us hear your call. Grant us the strength and hope to carry on. Keep us free and safe. Give shelter to our souls. God will always be with me. I shall not fear at all. אדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם כל יציר נברא, יציר נברא. לעת נשא בחפצו כל, אזי מלך שמו נקרא,
Shabbat Shalom. I was once taught that there's a reason why we begin our service with a nigun, a melody without words. In so many ways, it is about letting go of the week that has passed. We don't have to think about the words, that we can brain dump all of the stuff that has been weighing us down. We just breathe it out. No lyrics. We can just breathe in and breathe out a melody, and then begin our Shabbat afresh. Of course, it is Shabbat, and it is wonderful to be together here in the sanctuary and with all of you from wherever you are joining us. We are delighted. Hine ma tov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. How good it is that we get to come together in unity.
Hine ma tov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, ובטחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבטחים 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 גם יחד.
Adonai, you abide though all things change. I am anxious and fearful, and I turn my heart to you, looking to you and leaning on your strength. It is written, blessed is the one whose strength is in you. Bless me now with faith and courage. Help me to feel that you are with me, steadying and sustaining me with the assurance that I am loved. Be with me and bring me hope, that in the days to come my aspirations may be fulfilled for my good and for the good of those I love who depend on me. Banish my fears with the sense that you are always present to uphold and sustain me, as it is written, have no fear, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you, I will help you, I will uphold you with the power of my righteousness.
Amen. Song. I will sing unto God a new song. Sing unto God and we all sing along. All the earth a new song unto God. Shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz. Shiru l'Adonai Shir Chadash, Shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz. Shiru l'Adonai Shir Chadash, Shir Chadash. Adonai Yos לעמו ייתן לאדוני, יברך את העמו. אדוני עוז, לעמו ייתן אדוני, יברך את עמו. יברך את עמו. אדוני עוז, לעמו ייתן אדוני, יברך את עמו.
Welcome the Shabbat as a bride, Lecha Dodi.
Lecha Dodi likrat kala, yalalai, 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 bnei Shabbat, nekabela, yai, 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 Lecha Dodi likrat kala, yalalai, 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 bnei Shabbat, nekabelai, yai, yai.
Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, Hishmi'anu el ha'meyuchad, Adonai echad, Ushmo echad, L'shem u'letiferet v'halilah.
Echandon dilikrat kalai, yalalai, 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 bnei Shabbat, mekabelai, hay, hay, hay. Lechandon dilikrat kalai, yalalai, 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 bnei Shabbat, mekabelai, yai, 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 likrat Shabbat, v'chum v'nehelcha, ki mekor ha'beracha, merosh mikedem nesucha, sof ma'aseh v'machshavat kila, lechandon v'likrat kalai, yalalai, 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 bnei Shabbat, nekabela, yai, 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 lechandon v'likrat kalai, yalalai, 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 bnei Shabbat, nekabela, yai, yai.
Hitoreri, hitoreri, kiva oreku miuri, uri, uri, shir daberi, kivod Adonai alay nigla.
Echandon dilikrat kalai, yalalai, 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 bnei Shabbat, nekabelai, yai, yai, yai. Echandon dilikrat kalai, yalalai, 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 bnei Shabbat, nekabelai.
We rise, we turn to the door, welcome the Shabbat bride.
Moi veshalom, ateret bala, gam besimcha, וסולה גופנו עם סגולה בואי חלה יא אלי לך לא תילי כלכלה יאללה בשבת נקבלה לך לא תילי כלכלה יאללה בשבת
We welcome our Shabbat, the lighting of our candles.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kideshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu להדליק נר של שבת.
We rise for Baruch Hu.
Yalalai, yailai, 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 yalalai, yailai, 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 Baruch Hu et Adonai. Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Be'olam Va'ed Be'olam 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 Be'olam
Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the ways on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. You guide the current of day into night. As heavens span into infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows.
Baruch atah Adonai Hamarim Haravim Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed.
Seated. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה, אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before we ever stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together.
Fada Adonai Yaakov, Elohim Chazak Mimenu, Baruch Atah Adonai Ka'al Yisrael. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, Baruch atah Adonai haporech sukat shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael ועל ירושלים, אמן. ופרוס עלינו סוכת שומרך, ופרוס עלינו סוכת שומרך, ברוך אתה אדוני הבורא סוכת שלום עלינו ועל כל עמו ישראל ועל ירושלים ועל ירושלים ועל ירושלים, אמן.
think of a more appropriate prayer as we hope and pray for continued peace and quiet in the land of Israel. Spread over us that shelter of your peace. Praised are you, Adonai, who spreads your canopy of peace over us, over all the people of Israel, and over Jerusalem. People of Israel shall keep Shabbat, observing Shabbat in every generation as a covenant for all time. It is a sign forever between me and the people of Israel. For in 6 days the eternal God made heaven and earth, and on the seventh day God ceased from labor and rested.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם. כי 6 ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. וביום השביעי, וביום השביעי, וביום השביעי שבת וינפש.
Rise for Amidah.
אדוני שפתייך נפתח ופי יגיד תהילתך. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו ואמותינו, אלוהי אברהם, אלוהי יצחק, אלוהי יעקב, אלוהי שרה, אלוהי רבקה, אלוהי רחל ואלוהי לאה. האל הגדול הגיבור והתורה, אל עליון כולל חסדים טובים וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה. אתה גיבור עולם אדוני וחי הכל אתה, רב והושיע מוריד הטל, מכלכל העם בחסד, מחייה הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו משני עפר, מחבוך בעל גבורות ומדבר לך, מלך ממיד ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיה הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך הסלע. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
is 1 second. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Praise be Adonai for Shabbat and its holiness.
Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh ha-Shabbat.
Ever-present one, may we, your people Israel, be worthy in our deeds and our prayer, wherever we live, wherever we seek you, in this land, in Zion restored, in all lands, you are our God, whom alone we serve in reverence.
Baruch atah Adonai shotcha levadcha ve'ira na'avod modim anachnu lach.
We acknowledge with thanks that you are Adonai, our God, the God of our ancestors forever. You are the rock of our lives and the shield of our salvation in every generation. Let us thank you and praise you for our lives which are in your hand, for our souls which are in your care, for the miracles that we experience every day, and for your wondrous deeds and favors at every time of day, evening, morning, and noon. O good one, whose mercies never end, O compassionate one, whose kindness never fails, we forever put our hope in you. For all these things, O sovereign, let your name be forever praised and blessed. Our God, O God, our Redeemer and Helper, let all who live affirm you and praise your name in truth. Blessed are you, Adonai. Your name is goodness, and you are worthy of thanksgiving.
Baruch atah Adonai hatov shimcha ulechana lehodot. Shalom rahav al Yisrael amcha tsim leolam. Shalom rahav al Yisrael amcha tsim leolam. Shalom ra'av al Yisrael amcha tsim leolam. Shalom ra'av Yisrael amcha tsim leolam. Ki ata melech adon bechol shalom. Ki ata melech adon bechol shalom. Shalom rahav al Yisrael amcha tsim leolam. Shalom rahav al Yisrael amcha tsim leolam. V'tov einecha levaret et amcha Yisrael bechol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שלום רב על ישראל עמך שים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם.
before we take a moment for our silent personal prayer, we think about our friends and neighbors, members of our community, members of our own family who are in need of God's blessing of healing. On the Shabbat, we are thinking about Andrea Ronchek and Deanna Ronchek, Baruch Ben Sion Ben Bracha Chaya, Osvaldo Barraza, Gerald Berger, Etta Rachel Bat Malka Zissel, Esther Bat Ariel, Helen Fagan, Susan Friedman, Marion Gordon, Deborah Hartman, Peter Herrera, Gedalia Ben Ita, Shoshana Cecile Jacobs, Ed Johns, Mindy Elizabeth Jones, Susan Jones, Corey Kessler, Benjamin Lechner, Jack Lee, Judy Levy, Susan Linzenbaum, Leah Tova Bar, Shmai Ben Michael, Simcha Bat Esther, Robert Parker, Elka Rock, Shaul Ben Moshe Verivka, Howard Scheiman, Lillian Stein, Kevin Webb, Sid Weisel, Yehudit Bat Rachela V'Yankel. Mishaberach Avatenu Avraham Yitzhak V'Yaakov Imotenu Sarah Rivka Rachel V'Leah Hu Yivarech V'Yirapeh Et Cholim Kodesh Baruch Hu Yamalei Rachamim Aleihem L'Hachlimam L'Rapotam L'Hachazikam L'Hachyotam V'Shlach B'Mheira Refuah Shlema Refuat HaNefesh U'Refuat HaGuf B'Toch Shar Chol Yisrael Hashta Ba'agalav Izman Kariv and Omar. We say, Amen. Take a moment for silent personal prayer.
עושה שלום במרומה, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומה, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומה, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ועל כל יושבי תבל, ואמרו אמן, ואמרו
With the ceasefire in Israel just 24 hours old, it is yet to be seen whether it will hold and what will be the end result. I wish I could say that I had great faith that it would be the harbinger of lasting peace. But I'm happy for any day when missiles are not raining down on my Israeli brothers and sisters. But like many of them, I wonder whether the IDF went far enough to eliminate the threat of Hamas. What this ceasefire does give us is a moment to breathe and reflect. I was struck by what my teacher, Rabbi Daniel Hartman, wrote in a blog 2 days ago. Regardless of how many miles of Hamas tunnels Israel destroys, and how many years of deterrence Israel has gained before Hamas will fire again on Israel's cities, one thing is clear: Israel lost and Hamas won. In the international arena, Hamas's missile attacks and targeting of Israeli citizens are excused as a legitimate strike against the oppressor, while Israel's attempt to curtail them is seen as yet another manifestation of its abuse of power. Even when Hamas is condemned, it is always accompanied by a but. Hamas's attacks are deplorable, but that doesn't justify Israel's disproportionate responses and war crimes. In other words, we may have won the battle, but we are losing the war, the one that is being fought in the court of international opinion. As Rabbi Hartman wrote, facts matter. They have to. But which facts matter is another question altogether. In our conflict with the Palestinians, we are not merely engaged in a military conflict, but in a conflict of ideas and narratives. Do we have a right to the land? And if so, what land? Who was here first? From when do we start to calculate? And does it all matter? Who is responsible for the ongoing conflict? Who is the principal hindrance to peace? Who started this last war? Every war. In each case, there are facts. In some cases, the facts are disputable. In others, less so. In most cases, there is evidence to be considered and corroborating witnesses to be heard. We Jews and Israelis have been delegitimized for so long that we cannot stop arguing our case with facts. The problem is that we are now arguing the wrong case and presenting facts that no longer matter. We can complain that, like so many times in the past, the international community has ruled that Israel has committed crimes against humanity and that it is trying to do so again. We can bemoan the fact that the UN sits quietly by while North Korea, China, Russia, Iran, Cuba, Sudan, Argentina, and too many other countries rain down the worst kind of atrocities down on their own citizens. China's ruling party uses the term unity as an umbrella concept to force the ethnic Muslim minority, Uyghur families to assimilate. We can decry when this is happening, but what do we hear from the rest of the world? Nothing. We can be rightly proud that Israel supports and protects the Baha'i, Muslims, Christians, and every other religious faith that comes to Israel. We can and should be proud that from a civil perspective, all men and women, including LGBTQ, and every skin color are welcome in Israel and enjoy more social acceptance than many groups do anywhere else in the world, including here in the United States. We can stand tall when acknowledging that even though Israel is the world's only Jewish state, its Knesset allows Arabs and others who are democratically elected by the people to be a part of the government. That along with being a democracy, it is a capitalistic country that encourages entrepreneurship. That it is one of the first countries to appear at every disaster in the world, fully ready to help even when the disaster happens to the countries that line up to wipe Israel off the map. We can pound our fists when the rest of the world tries to establish a moral equivalence between Hamas, who indiscriminately launches tens of thousands of rockets into civilian populations, and the IDF, who carefully targets those who are attacking them. And when we do, Israel is going to lose. All of that is unfortunate. But regardless of what the world says, we must maintain our morality. As Rabbi Hartman continues to write, the fact that Hamas wants us dead and instigated this recent war does not legitimize every Israeli response. And the fact that we continue to argue that case creates an impression of moral obtuseness. The fact that the Palestinians rejected the Clinton parameters, even Bill Clinton attests, may explain back then the lack of progress towards the two-state solution. But it does not justify Israel's settlement expansion, which renders any such solution impossible now and in the future, or the continued discrimination of Palestinians. The fact that Palestinians have rejected every peaceful solution since 1947 does not ameliorate the general perception that Israel no longer seeks a just peace and is content with relying on its military power. Facts matter, but in the current moral debate, we do not get to use the facts to change the conversation to the issue that we want to discuss. To succeed, we need to accept the rules of the game, and the current discourse is about moral values and policy, moral awareness and aspirations. To win in an open marketplace of ideas, we need to internalize that we cannot control the marketplace. It is, by definition, open. We need to listen. We need to hear people's criticism and concerns. We need to believe that they are worthy of a response and then respond both through the power of our ideas, but also with the courage to admit when we are wrong. We need to reclaim the moral high ground, not through self-congratulations, but through policies that are worthy of us. When we do so, I believe that our moral arguments will be heard. So for now we rejoice in a Shabbat of peace for us and for the whole state of Israel. And then, next week, we pick up the moral debate once more. Because along with winning on the military battlefield, we must continue to win over the hearts and minds of the world. And that is a war not so easily won. Shabbat Shalom. We are turning back to our Siddur, to our prayer book, with Aleinu.
עלינו לשבח לדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל עמונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
At this point, we remember those who are no longer with us. We remember Melvin Zuckerman, Lee Levinson, Frank Pearl, Rebecca Cantor-Martin, all who have died over the past 30 days, for whom we are observing Shloshim. Remember the yortzites of our congregant loved ones whom we commemorate this week: Evans E. Barros, Mitchell Brownstein, Ruth Deitch, Lillian Wolf-Fink, Linda Libby Franco, Lisa Hertz, Ralph H. Marcus, Stanley Miller, Abraham Schwartz, Belle Horwitz Shapiro, Gloria Schwachman, Stephen Siegel, Sandy Warwick, and we remember those listed below who are remembered on our permanent memorial walls here in the sanctuary. Remember them all. We join together for Kaddish Yatom, Mourners Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah.
Amen.
Be'alma divrach cherutei v'yamlich malchutei. B'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael. Ba'gala uv'zman kariv v'imru.
Amen.
Yehei shemei rabbah mavarach le'olam ulamei omaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yithalal shemei dekudashah.
B'richu.
Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tush b'chata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru.
Amen.
Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru.
Amen.
Oseh shalom b'mromav, huyaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn, comfort to all who are bereaved. Together we say,
Amen.
Amen. Once again, want to wish all of you a Shabbat Shalom. We've got lots of simchas and opportunities and to celebrate, and we want to say thank you to all of our service sponsors. Thank you to Ron and Shoshana Bloom, honoring the memory of our longstanding congregant, Josephine Knopp. And thank you to David and Rosellen Glickman in memory of Rosellen's brother Stanley Miller, Dr. Merritt and Ellen Halem in honor of their anniversary yesterday or the day before, I forget. Happy anniversary, Lee and Linda Hertz in memory of Lisa Hertz. And a very special happy anniversary, happy 50th anniversary tomorrow of our congregants Heather and Marty Oppenheimer, and thank their children Jesse and Tamar and Corey and Brian and Kate and Dennis for sponsoring in honor of that wonderful occasion. Thank you to Sue, Clow, and Ann Zartler in memory of their grandmothers Lillian Wolfink and Belle Horwitz Shapiro. Marty and Lynn Mendelson, family in honor of Lynn's mother Elka Rock's 101st birthday. She should only be well and Ad Mea V'Esrim until 120. Ann Sartler and Debbie Shapiro in honor of a very special 75th birthday for Sue Clow. And really, we get to say a special mazel tov to our own Cantor Norman, who not yesterday became a United States citizen, and our country is stronger because of that. We are.
If you say so.
Thank you, Marcelo. Thank you. Mazel tov to Cantor Norman. This coming Thursday, we have our annual congregational meeting. It will be held on our Zoom platform. If you are a congregant of Temple Sinai, you are welcome to join us for that. Enjoy the retrospective of our year, very strange but wonderful year that that's coming to the end, our programming year, and we'll elect new board members and new officers and pass our budget, hopefully, and always a nice evening. And as I've said before, we have a few tricks up our sleeves just to share with you. I think that is it. We are going to conclude with the singing of Adon Olam.
Adon Olam asher malach b'terem kol yetzir nivra ve'et nasa v'chefso kol azai melech shebo nikra azai melech shebo nikra ve'acharei kikrot hakol ve'vado imrot nora ve'u aya ve'u ove ve'u yeh בתפארה, והוא יהיה בתפארה, והוא אחד ואין שני, העם שלו להחמירה, בלי ראשי, בלי תקליט, ולא העוז ועם ישראל, ולא העוז ועם ישראל, והוא אלי, וחיים עלי, וצור הבלים, בעת צרה, והוא ניסי ומנוסים, מנת כוסי ביום אקרא, מנת כוסי ביום אקרא, בידו אפקד רוחי, בעת תישן בעינה, ועם רוחי גביעתי, אדוני לי ולא אירא, אדוני לי ולא אירא.
Join together for Kiddush and Motzi.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, בורא פרי הגפן, ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר קידשנו במצוותיו ורצה בנו בשבת קודשו באהבה וברצון הנחילנו זיכרון למעשה בראשית כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש זכר ליציאת מצרים קיוונו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים בשבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת אמן.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. Shabbat shalom.